So we're going to fill these holes, these 3 holes, with these Weaver screws. And we're going to tighten them down in there really tight. You're going to really torque them in there tight because you want that tapered head to mush right down in that receiver. And when I get done, all I will have will be one little small spot. Don't go welding on these things. It makes a terrible mess. And this works perfect. I've done hundreds and hundreds, thousands of these holes. And I use these Weaver screws every time. So there, I have plugged my 3 holes with those Weaver scope-based screws. And I've torqued them in really tight. Now, I'm going to go grind them off and dress them right down flush with this receiver. And you'll barely be able to see them once I've done that. But believe me, once you blue it, where each little screw hole is there, or each fill, you'll have a little spot. They never, ever blue the same color. I've heard people tell me about annealing and this and that. They never work. What we're going to do, what we do, is we're going to put some extra engraving on this receiver, kind of right through those holes to camouflage them. The holes will be there, and the little dark spot will be the re-screws, but you won't see it because the engraving will pull your eye away from it, and it'll hide it. I've done lots and lots of them like that. So I got to go back. So I've come back to my fancy super duper 2x72-inch super duper grinder, and I'm going to, you could take a file and dress these off, but I'm just lazy. I want to speed things up. And so I'm going to grind off all the excess I can on these screws, as much as I dare grind off, and hope I don't hit the receiver. And I think I'm going to get pretty close here. Then I will finish it up with a file. So I've kind of ground off quite a bit of it, and now we're going to step in. You don't want to get too close. I mean, the more I grind off here, the better. But we're going to go in and finish up with a file. And it won't take but a few licks on that file to get rid of that screw head altogether. And I've checked it down inside to make sure they don't protrude into the side inside the receiver, and they don't. They're clear. You could grind them out if they're in there, but why do that? Just grind your screw off and get rid of the excess, and don't make work for yourself. All right. So now we're going to take our Magicut file. That's a wonderful file right there. And we're going to dress these heads off of these screws right down to the shank of it. And then we're going to blend it right into that receiver. And our holes will be filled. And you will see there will be no half-moon threads protruding out. It will be just one solid little fill. But there again, I reiterate, when you do it, they will show up. They just always do. It's a matter of engraving over them to hide them. That works every time. So on this receiver, we'll be adding a little engraving. This will have a little special engraving on it, which you guys are going to love. This gun's going to be up for sale, just like a lot of others. I don't get emotionally attached to any of them. They're all for sale. But I enjoy what I do, and I've learned a lot over the years, and I'm pretty good at some of these things. So now our screws are down, getting very flush with that receiver. And they say, yeah, but you're filing on the receiver. Yeah, I'm filing on the receiver. It's fine. We're going to smooth all that up. Just going to lose some engraving here. We know that, but again, we're going to be engraving this receiver. So we don't care if we lose some engraving. If these screws were in the engraving, it'd be perfect. I could really hide them. I just touch up the engraving a little. Well, I have dressed those screws down, and those holes are now filled. And now we need to remove our file marks. I'll go ahead and take this border off, this ribbling we call it around here. this little zigzaggy border. I'm going to take all that off because I've got to put that section back on after the gun is engraved. And we'll put it on there so it matches all the other rigging. So our receiver is now ready to be, I'm going to take it back to a grinding machine, one of my Lee wheels as I call them. I'm going to grind out these file marks. You can hand sand them out. You can sit here for an hour or two, but why do that? Why make work for yourself? Okay, we're back here. This is what I call our Lee wheel. It's just an abrasive wheel. It's kind of soft. We paint this abrasive compound onto it and let it dry. And as we grind on concave parts, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't grind flats on it. I use these wheels all the time. This is the other wheel we use mostly around here is a Tampico wheel. Over here behind me is a rag wheel. This rag wheel I use to get a high shine, but the only thing I really get a high shine on around here is triggers so we can gold plate them. Tampico wheel is what we use the most. It gives a nice satiny sheen. You don't want a rag wheel a high shine on a Browning shotgun. It'll look terrible. You want them to look factory every time. So I'm back here to my Lee wheel and I'm going to just take off this, get rid of my file marks. So, my file marks are gone. Now that's not to say that I'm gonna go back with a little paper and smooth it up a little more, but the file marks are gone, and very little trace of those screw holes left. The engraving's getting real light up in here, and I took the riveting off, but that's all that we put back on. We don't care about that. So we've got to have our holes filled. Now we're going to go in and just polish it a little bit and smooth it up, and get it over to the engraver so we can do a little extra engraving through there to hide those holes. So, all right, I've got a little 240 emery cloth here. I'm going to smooth all this up. This is our cork we use around here. It's a rubber impregnated cork. It makes it really tough and hard. It works great for a backing on polishing. And we do a lot of polishing around here. I do more A5s than anybody in the country. I have bleed thousands of these things over the year. So now I'm going to just smooth this up a little bit here and get it ready for the engraver. I got to kind of go to the whole receiver and take out any pitting that's here or there, and engraver will take it from there. Now, I can see those holes, barely. They're filled, there's no thread cuts in them or anything. They're completely filled and they're flush. So now, the trick is to hide those. And we'll show you how we do that with a little extra engraving, and when that gun is all blued, you will see no trace of those holes any longer. So I bought that gun right because it had the holes in it. So that's how you fill those holes, but we'll carry on with this once we get the finished product done, and you will be amazed by that.